Texas, 85 points in round 2. What can we do? Come on, Brandon. Gonna get out on him good. Now get to corner. Get you some. Way to go, Brandon Davis. Way to ride.
What's up and welcome back to the Pointman podcast. My name is Zach. I get the opportunity to serve as the Pointman pastor here at that church. And this podcast is set aside for one reason, and that is to reach men with the gospel of Jesus and to bring them closer to their Bible, diving into it, learning and growing as men. And today we have an interesting episode. We have a new interview, another interview with an interesting fella, Brandon, who's joined us today.
Welcome, Brandon.
Brandon
guys.
is a bull rider. Was a bull rider. Hey, you've been on more bulls than I will ever be on, so we're going to call you on. But super interested in this. So we've had, you're our first athlete interview first off. We've had
You classified them the correct way.
athlete.
you go.
Yeah, what else would it be?
Some people don't.
What do they call them?
They call the bulls athletes too.
Cowboy athlete.
Yeah.
Western sports. Yeah.
A Western sports
I like that
athlete.
Definitely.
Before bull riding, played a lot of baseball with this guy.
Yeah.
Grew up playing football in Sylvan Hills as far as youth. But about time we hit high school, it was baseball and bull riding, and bull riding quickly took over. So
Look, I've never been in a room where I'm the only dude without a cowboy hat on. And so this is already a trip in and of itself for me. But athlete is definitely where I would classify it. We've talked to tattoo artists, we've talked to musicians, we've talked to filmmakers. Yeah. But this is a different, you physically put yourself on the line for your job, literally, when it comes to bull riding. And I think that is super, super interesting. As we dive into this conversation, I want to kick things off with kind of give me your faith story. Like, how did you come to faith? What does that look like for you? What does that kind of played out in your life?
yes, sir. Like, growing up in Arkansas, it's as far as, the word and the gospel and God, he's around and he's always been in my family. But that's when I was a child, and I left Arkansas at an early age. I left at 14, but I came back and graduated here, and then I left again at 19, 18, 19. Moved up north to really some of the same guys I was really competing with and traveling with down here didn't really want the same thing I did, I guess. They did it for fun, and that's why we start. But I knew it was going to take me to another level. That's what I wanted to do all my life, and manifesting it, if you will. But really, it was God's plan, man. But so as far as leaving out on my own, very uncomfortable. I have family up north in Ohio, but as far as the faith part, that's where it started. Leaving your mother.
Maybe it's something to cling to.
Yeah, it's something to makes you, just your comfort zone, right?
Right.
And that's where you find out if you're a true champion, or if you're going to succeed. So faith come in a lot with my injuries, to be honest. I was very lucky at an early age to not be injured as bad, but once you start getting into it and practicing your craft, becoming real, with it 100%, that's what you're going to dedicate your life to, and that's what you are. That's where faith comes, and but also the devil.
Is it because you're dealing with mortality is real at that point where it's like,
definitely,
I'm not invincible?
I can tell you one thing is when you ride a bull for 8 seconds and you step off and land on your feet, everything goes right. You feel immortal. The feeling it gives you feel
It's a drug in itself.
It's a drug, man.
Yeah.
And nothing can touch you. Yeah. And in ways, I use that God was elevate me, but there's a lot of ways that it wasn't godly. Does that make sense?
You made
boasting part. There's been times that I've kneeled, I've walked out of the arena and gave the glory to him, and there's been multiple times that I would pound my chest and I'm the beast, and not even maybe afterwards go to the locker room and then say, thank you, Lord. But as a bull rider, man, like now, even more now that I've, got back in contact with Shane, he's introduced me to you and becoming a Pointman and training, learning some of this stuff. I want to learn it all, obviously, but it showed me where a lot of that was boasting.
Yeah.
You become your own God kind of thing.
Never that I thought I was my own God, but I was in control. If I was going to be a world champion, I'm going to do it.
I'll give you a little bit of a pass on that because we are given gifts by God to do incredible things. Does God give us the power and the ability to accomplish these things? Sure. And should he get the glory? Yes. And everything that we do, he should. But when you hang on to something for 8 seconds, you did that.
Right. And I'm
you
not saying
you put the work in.
Yeah, you did it. You did the work. Like, don't discount the fact that there's a very practical side of like, anytime you do something that's hard physically, like when you get to the end of it and you've done the training, you've done the work, you put the time, you did it.
And that's my half of it. I did my half of it. But there's times that I took credit for the
whole thing.
Yeah, I can see it.
God puts us, I believe he used me as a way to, like, heck, some of the guys I went to school with, you see me on CBS Sports, like, I'm not famous, like, I am, I guess, to some people, but like, we went to school together, so it's different. And the way that God used me, I feel like it was for that. In the arena, I should show it to them young kids that are wanting to maybe become a bull rider or look up to you. And man, the older you get, the wiser you get, the more that Bible brings out the black and white in life. And like, and it's brought out the times that I've boasted about my winnings and I could have,
that's just conviction.
Showed a kid, conviction, exactly. And show a kid that, hey, it was all the Almighty. Half a good majority, I wouldn't even say half of it, it's the majority.
Well, God gives you the skills and the abilities to do it. That wasn't what I'm saying. I'm just saying, like, don't think in yourself like, I did the work.
Right.
I don't deserve some of it. And you do, because you did the work.
Yes,
like you accomplished the task, which is incredible. Yeah. I do think where it's cool is like when you think about the platform you were given, though, you say, I'm not famous. Well, God put you in a position to use your platform to glorify him. And so while you may not feel famous, you still have that opportunity to glorify him on that big platform to those people who are looking up to you. And that's incredible.
And that's where I was really kind of getting to, is like, maybe in some eyes I'm famous, but like you go look at famous people. There's a few that are, I guess, covered with the blood, right? Like we are as humans, but there's few that quickly denounce him. Yeah, and they might not do it with language, but they do it symbolically, or they'll do it. That every chance that you are given to glorify God, they you know what I'm saying, they don't. And that's where I'm coming at, is like it just shows me my conviction that I could have done it if I'd have put 110 like I did in the bull riding, doing it to Christ and doing it with Christ.
I think the outcome would be different.
It would have been different. That wasn't my path, right? But it just shows me there was times that, hey, I didn't give him the glory and I should have. And that's all with learning and becoming a follower of Christ.
That's good.
So I look at it as my old path, like that's my old self. And sometimes all the time, you have to get rid of your old worldly way to earn the new life.
Are you retired now? You're not going to say that out loud?
I'm not going to say that out loud. I'm sure people will know when I'm not. I'd imagine. I mean, some of my old friends like Randy King, Luke knows Randy. You know Randy. Yeah. They've known me since I was sophomore in high school. Right. They know. Okay. But I can't sit there and tell you.
What I was going to lead to is your old self versus your new self.
Yes, sir.
Going into this new season of your life now, are you you're gonna use that conviction as fuel to spread the kingdom? Okay,
that is it. And I can't tell you.
Shane just signed him up over here for something. I don't know what he just signed him up.
Well, so we just had a podcast we just did about church, right? And it's not an option. It's mandatory.
Yes, sir.
So going forward now, you're on fire.
I'm on fire.
Okay.
I've had that fire lit, but
Right.
surely if you don't
You
refuel
like
it,
I'm a fleshly man.
right, it burns. It burns out. You
Yeah.
got to keep it lit. Bull riding, it was my fire though. Like if I wasn't entered in on the weekend, I was like, man, what am I doing?
Right.
And that's another thing. What could have I been doing?
But what about
more?
I want to dive into this your profession and bull riding a little bit here
Let's do it.
because
I've got some
Talk
stats.
about it, man.
I mean it was like you were in
I love you, Luke.
you were in the major leagues of bull riding. This isn't
sir.
like you were going with your friends on the weekend.
Wasn't no Mount Vernon.
sun.
Flying out
Because,
road.
Yeah,
I mean, that's what I'm
romance.
saying. Like, I've been to the PBR before to watch, and it's a
spectacle.
spectacle.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
it's a cool thing, and the fact that you're a part of it and we're competing, like, you are a professional athlete at the highest level of that sport.
It is the highest level of bull riding. Yes, it is.
And so, in that, your dedication had to be
That's it.
immense.
All of it.
Yeah.
It's you eat, sleep, and dream it.
yeah.
So, in your, like, I'm sure with bull riding, and correct me, like, you have to be that way because it's like auto racing. If your focus is missing, the consequences are dire. This isn't baseball.
Deadly.
Right.
If your
It's
focus
deadly.
isn't,
It's
yeah,
deadly.
Yeah, you'll end up being on a hat, and then like Lane
Crazy.
Frost or something.
That's
you know?
just what I'm saying. It's like
Yeah.
I don't know every bull rider out there. I don't know, every bull rider at that level's relationship with God. I don't know. I do know there's a lot of us that pray, and I know we all kneel during the introduction. That's the only
Culture.
thing we kneel to is God. It's our culture.
Yeah.
But like, as far as who's got the relationship, I don't know. There's a handful.
Yeah.
I do know the ones that do.
You stick close.
If you
to,
don't
stick
get
close
on
to
the
them.
back of a bull and feel the presence of God,
Come
especially
on.
at that level,
I'm telling you,
I advise any atheist, any
that's crazy.
ungodly man to come and like challenge it. I mean, come and get on the back of a God-given creature.
What's the average weight of one of those things?
An average weight,
1,800 pounds?
15 to 1,800, yeah. But
How
now
much you weigh? $120?
Yeah.
a soaking weight.
Right. Yeah.
No, I'm probably one. Now I got a good woman that feeds me good. So,
With chaps, a belt,
yeah,
a
with
jacket.
my chaps, my vest, my hat. I don't wear a helmet anymore. That's another story. But like, yeah, probably 145. Is the
Wow.
last
Man,
at
you're a flea
competition
on the
weight.
back of that thing.
Yeah,
He knows you're there. Just
Yeah,
because
that's
you're trying to
crazy.
control it. That's about it.
So how many bull riders in the world are there at that level?
Well,
They have a
in
card,
the PBR,
right?
yeah. So it's made up of Major League Baseball, if you will. You got the MLB, but then you got farm leagues. So we got the PBR Unleash the Beast series.
That was one of my questions. Yeah.
We got that, and then we have the PBR Pendleton Whiskey Velocity Tour. So that's where I did my climbing. I went to the Velocity Tours since they actually started, and one of the first events was in Little Rock back in 2014. I
Okay.
believe. Anyhow,
They had one out in Jonesboro at one point.
the Jonesboro,
Yeah.
just all over. And once them started clicking, that was our, the stepping stone, the farm league to the Unleash the Beast series, the top 35 guys in the world. So as far as card holders, there's in the thousands. I'd
Yeah,
say.
it's kind of like the PGA. You have a card, a tour card.
Yeah.
You had to make the cut
Right.
to actually make the weekend.
And
Yeah.
rules change with the PBR every year, it seems. I mean, really every half of the year, because now we have PBR teams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they took the old, so like they still have the PBR Unleash the Beast series. That season's going on right now, but what used to be start from January to April, May, have the summer break.
Yeah.
Then they go on to the second half of the
Right.
Unleash the Beast series, and then on your way into the World Finals in October. Now they cut that in a quarter. It's Unleash the Beast starts in December, comes around into May. That's the end of the finals at the end of May. You have maybe a month. They do the draft, the PBR teams draft after the World Finals, and then maybe a month or two, you start the Challenger Series, which is traditional bull riding. That's your double A, if you will. And then that leads into your team's deal around September.
Okay. So in your career,
July, somewhere around. I don't know.
what was the pinnacle that you reached in your career?
The pinnacle would be the World Finals.
What was your in your career?
To me, it was the last 2 years.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
that's when I hit the peak of my pinnacle. Like,
So you went to the World Finals?
yeah, in 2022.
That's more what I was getting. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I know what you mean. I was quickly starting my pinnacle in 2020 around COVID. I took a kind of a year break in 2019. COVID hit. There wasn't much rodeos going on, bull ridings. I started doing a little, I called it the Pros Edge Bull Riding Clinic because kids needed something to do.
Yeah, I remember you seeing your little marketing campaign you had going on with that.
And I think we did 8 of them. But once COVID kind of eased up, 2021, I started going to like just other deals, getting consistent, winning. And then, I went through 2 years of sobriety court. And it wasn't my own doing, it was court. So we that's what really led me to my pinnacle.
Yeah. When was Bangor, Maine?
Bangor, Maine was in this actually they're in Bangor right now this weekend. So
that was you got a buckle then.
Yeah, I won Bangor. It all started in Grand Rapids of after 2021.
Yeah.
I've gone in through a year sober.
Yeah.
I got a sponsor of Pro Hats, and then another sponsor with Fabulous Ford Bucking Bulls, Josh Walling and his family. They're from Texas. They moved to Ohio. Josh really believed in me, and he just seen that deep down inside I was a good guy.
Yeah.
I just had some rough edges, was going down the wrong road, and I went through my God put me in that sobriety court for a reason because I wasn't done, and I was fined with the PBR. They had me fined up of like $2,000 because there's another story inside that too. It's I got a lot of stories. But anyhow,
We'll peel back some onions.
Yeah. We'll just hold that back. But,
it's like I just told you I went to sobriety court. I'm not giving you all of it.
No, most people don't make it out of that.
Subscribe, and then
There we go. There we go.
So in 2022, how many wins did you have in 2022?
So it started in Grand Rapids. Yeah. I placed the first night. This is my first PBR back. My sponsor, Josh Walling with Fabulous Ford Bucking Bulls. He he made sure I got my fines paid, and I just was there every weekend.
It's a good mentor.
Yeah, and it was because without that, man, I mean, you're looking at $1,000 weekends on your own.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. I didn't think about that. Cost of just being there.
Yeah. So God's working already, and I've known God, but I was in a relationship with a woman that wasn't.
Well, I'll do it.
I'm not saying she doesn't believe. I'm not denouncing.
She likes the world more than the church.
In a sense, and it's just like we wasn't on that same level. So God's working and has a new life for me, and it had to happen through sobriety. So, and that's funny how God does amazing things for sober people.
Yeah, we've had a few on the podcast in the past.
Some guys on here
that
have
done
had
some incredible things.
21.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go with that.
I get sponsored. Anyhow, good people behind me. I go to Grand Rapids because I was living in Michigan, but PBR come to Grand Rapids.
Yeah.
If you don't know anything about Grand Rapids, it is known for some top talent and legends like Justin McBride riding and winning there, and also breaking it. I'm pretty sure he broke his leg there. But anyhow, I bucked off in my first round. That was Friday night, and then coming in second night, I just had this. I don't know, this burden, this heaviness on my heart, like, you're not giving it your all. Because I looked lazy on that first bull.
Okay. And you have control.
Yeah, no, I just was more not taking the fight to that bull, letting him take the fight to me, and he going to win every time. It was just more like God's like, I gave you this, rehashing with your career. You had to go away for a few years, and then you're back. And this is how you're going to compete. You know what I mean? Like, this is...
You didn't use your full talent.
Yeah. And I felt that first night. I'm like...
You get a rewrite at life?
No. At life? Yeah.
Rewrite at life?
Rewrite at life. That was good.
There you go.
That was good. So...
Title of the episode.
Yeah. Rewrite at life.
That's good. That's all right. That's funny.
So, we...
You're welcome.
It's a 2-day event. We come in Saturday, the second round, and championship round. I ride this bull for like 85, I believe. I mean, I got all of them, but if I'm wrong with the score, I'm sorry. But it was a mid score, so like 84 and a half, 85. get back to the championship round. That's where the money's made.
Right.
So there's guys that are ahead of me now. Like there's guys that are 2 for 2, and I'm only 1 for 2. I ride my short round bull for 88.5. And I do believe I sent you that one. It was a spotted bull.
Yeah.
Anyhow,
Pretty good ride.
I ride him for 88.5. It was a high mark bull ride of the short round.
Yeah.
And end up second though. And
For y'all who don't know, scores are based off of half the score comes from the rider and the other half comes from the bull.
Right. So the class, there's bulls are class. I know I'm very dangerous with this. Bulls are classified
Animal
in
athletes.
different rankings. So like you are matched against like in simple terms for you video game aficionados, like there could be when you're playing Madden.
Match play.
When you're playing
play.
Madden, there's a player ranking like you're 94 overall. So like the bull has a rating
they do.
all its own.
They
And
do
so
have
when you
ratings.
ride
A
it,
buck
it's like a
percentage.
compared.
it is
ride
a
percentage.
buck off percentage, and now they do have what they call it a power ranking.
Yeah.
So, but
I'll do
they
some
don't-
research
but they
for this
don't
show,
match
people.
You up like that?
Yeah.
It's a random.
So
It's in a computer.
you had that one on the short round.
I had that one in the short round. I guess we did match up pretty good.
Yeah.
And I won the short round, ended up second in the event.
In 88.
And, well, the 88 was the short round. So that and my,
Bless you.
my
Dang, that was a
second
big
round
one.
bull. Them two
right.
were my average.
Like a
aggregate.
170 or something
so
like that?
170. Well, I ain't good at math on the spot. I have to
Yeah.
pay some paper. But
88 and 89 would
I just
be
know a lot of
one.
winnings around the 170, 180
Yeah,
mark.
right, yeah.
Guys that have 2 rides out of
So
the
it was
weekend.
around there, and that's where it was started. Now, a 1 second, so that's like a $6,000 payday.
That's good.
And so we go to Greenville, a buck off.
So is this is this in the big tour or is this
This
in
is
the
a velocity,
Pendleton?
So this is where I'm working my way up
Okay.
from the
Yeah, okay, I'm with you now.
Whiskey Velocity
Yeah.
Tour.
Grassroots effort to
Yeah.
get to the top.
grass-
That's what my
Grassroots
next
effort.
question was coming was so
Very blue
6,000 per second at the top of the sport. We
Yeah,
didn't talk
no,
about
no.
that.
No.
A lot of the bulls cut their teeth in that to get to the upper.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of bulls you see right there. Like Shane said, they get exposed out there. If they buck good, they're gonna go on to the
Fascinating.
B series. So
Is there a market for like horse racing horses for
Yeah.
bulls? Like people
yes,
breed
sir.
bucking
That's
bulls?
what I'm
We were
in
just
right
talking
now.
about
Okay,
Yes, sir.
interesting.
it
It's a good
is-
business.
If you got one that can show,
We're teaching more than that than the Bible on the Pointman podcast.
promise we're getting back to Jesus on this. It's a long parable.
It's interesting. It really is because I think it tends to the
So
whole
you had like
story.
an 18-month to 24-month time frame where God gave you a reboot.
A rebirth of this the worldly career that I was like, man, I'm not done, right? I'm not done. I didn't just go to these events and then get fined by the PBR because they don't like me using my First Amendment and like
Oh boy, we'll get to that in a minute.
Probably
anyways, and going through rock
That's for
bottom
clicks.
and not noticing it though until it's happening, and then
It's too late.
yeah, but I'm not saying it's too late. It's just I noticed it was happening, and I was sober, and then but he was redirecting my whole life. I went through a break. Like we went to the World Finals that year. Everything was great. I thought my home life was good. Other than we're not going to church, we're not
Right.
studying
Something.
together, we're not doing this stuff that a marriage per se in God's eyes should do. Rather you're married by the ring or not. If you're with that woman inside that home,
What's
you're
that? You have
married to her.
a God-sized hole in your heart if you're filling it full of worldly things.
Right.
It's not in the Bible.
So-
Right. I'm just
yeah.
that's
The
cliche.
saying is like, yeah.
And like everything's happening, I'm winning. My herd is growing. I believe my sister's wedding
Yeah.
last year.
Okay.
No, 2022. So, dang, 2 years ago, going on 2 years.
Flies.
It flies. I did slip up on my sobriety. I'm not saying I went out and got drunk, and become a foolish man, but I did have a beer with my dad, and well, that ended that relationship. I had that woman down there with me, and she went out there and made a fool of me. Which, hey, I brought it on my own, but I'm still a man. If I wanted a beer, I'm going to drink a beer, and especially with my father, and the guy that raised me.
Yeah.
And Dave.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
Dave Hall has.
So you were in Ohio and he was down here in Arkansas.
Dave is Eric and Jessica's dad.
Okay. That's right.
That's my stepfather. That's the guy that raised me.
right.
Put Christ, not just him, but my mamaw, like his mother,
Mamaw.
and then my mom and my family was just
My mamaw.
you know.
I wouldn't
covered
expect anything else from a
Christ,
bull
but-
rider.
Yeah, you're right.
Meemaw.
Mamaw, mamaw,
Meemaw,
yeah.
mammal.
But so
So you produced a couple buckles during the sobriety, and you had to slip up.
like
You
Bangor,
learned-
and that got me to Little Rock, and then I had
Yeah.
to slip up later on in the year, and like you can call it a slip up. I was just whatever, man. I was celebrating.
Yeah, it's fine.
It is what it is. Changed my life. It wasn't my home where I was living. It was a place that God had me doing his evaluation of me really and reconstructing my life. And I'm thinking it's just as a bull rider, right? I'm thinking like
You're thinking narrow,
2022, make the
narrow.
World Finals. Getting a breakup. I had moved my whole herd from Michigan back to Ohio for temporarily at an hour away from where I was living. So it's like if you don't have cattle, you know what I mean? Like
Right.
you being an hour away from your cows
a long
is
ways.
terrible.
Yeah.
Because you don't know if they're healthy. You don't know if they're. But I had a buddy taking care of them, and he's a bull rider, so he's like a brother of mine. It's still uncomfortable because no one does it
Right.
like you do it. You know what I mean?
Well, it's
When
like
you
having
take
your
care of
kids sleep
cows.
on. You don't get used to it, but you have your kids sleeping on the other side of the house.
Yeah.
You still want to be there.
Exactly.
And it's
But yeah, it's your craft, and so like
job. That's
do
your-
everything as if you do it unto the Lord. So like
Yeah.
for you, your craft is you raise these cows, and you want to do it to the best of your ability.
Yeah.
You want to know what's going on when you're raising kids. I think that's a good point. Like we were actually
are your
talking
kids.
we were talking at dinner the other night about there was a clip we saw from a pastor, and he was talking about like why would you ever let your kids spend the night somewhere?
Right.
And it makes so much sense when you think about like why would you let other people raise your children even for a day? Why would you let them?
Why would your situation being what it was, you have your cows
Right.
an hour away, and you
Yeah.
have someone you can trust look after them, but it's still
But
not your
it's
still not your eyes.
my effort, you know. And
But
not
you're,
being- you're
and
not being a
also
good
in this
shepherd.
point, you're in a tough
I
situation.
am.
So
And God is now. I've always told my mother was worried that I was never coming back to Arkansas, ever.
My mom was the same way when I was in the military.
Yeah, and like I always told her, Mom, I'm coming home. You know, I don't know when. I can't tell you
Yeah.
tomorrow.
I don't want to jump forward, but was it
the
your injury that caused you to come home?
No. Everything. It would be. I didn't get injured yet. I was already living in Arkansas. That's
Yeah.
in 2023. So
We ran into each other at Lowe's
yeah,
randomly.
I was working for Jeremy Craig.
That's right. Yeah.
And
yeah.
so
And you went back out and rode after
yeah,
that?
that's in the. But we're gonna go back. We're gonna stay on task, Shane. So.
Welcome to my world.
Yeah, so end of 2022, September, the breakup happens.
Yeah.
Within a day, she said, "You need to get yourself out here." I mean, I got cattle still. I mean, just 3 years worth of my stuff at
Right.
what you think is your home, and then that was up and loaded out in 2 days, man. And so
Did you bring all of them down here?
yeah, I moved them into Arkansas, and that was my assurance. Like,
It's a modern-day cattle
I'm
drive.
coming home.
literally,
We're going to
Cows
Dodge.
were home.
I don't want us to gloss over the fact that she said get out, and this
Yeah.
man had to move cows.
Cows.
Like he
She already
didn't,
had my
It wasn't like
backpack,
Brandon's
man.
like, I'm getting my duffel bag and leaving.
No,
No, it's
he
like,
didn't have
hang
to
on,
get
I
his
gotta get a couple
MacBook and his-
full-size trailers.
Yeah.
Did you have to get semi?
No, not that much. A stock trailer, a couple trips though.
Hang on. He didn't have to pack his MacBook and his bicycle. My man had to pack cows and move cows.
Yep.
Let's not just gloss over that.
Crazy, man.
I'm crying.
It's like
I'm
that.
crying the whole way because them cows are gonna get thin on the way home.
I was like,
what
I
I mean.
can't afford
But
to
no.
move cows, woman.
They definitely didn't get thin because I take care of my herd. But it wasn't just no duffel bags. Them were already packed and thrown out. You know, with the officer there making sure that I'm leaving.
I like it.
I think it's
dramatic.
funny. Yeah, it's pretty dramatic. My life has been drama.
I don't even know where to go with that. So
This
continue
sounds
on.
like
We're continuing
it
from
sounds
there.
like a country music video.
Yeah.
It does. I'm not
It'd
sure
be a
what
song.
to say to that.
A reality TV show, however you want to.
Yeah.
Jerry.
That's right.
So we
She
moved,
took my home, but she didn't take my cows.
She took my cows. You probably wouldn't be seeing me today.
Right.
I take that.
Right. So that was in 2022.
2022. Now,
Okay. You were fighting for-
September though. So I moved my cows right after that. September, October. This is where it gets interesting. Like I'm on Tinder, man. I'm living not for
right.
God. I swipe right on this beautiful blonde,
Oh boy.
and she actually swiped right on me first. Apparently, I guess that's how it goes. I don't know.
You do now.
I do now. Well, long story short, I meet her, and we've spent every day since then with each other, and I moved her to Arkansas.
You know what's funny is my brother-in-law met a girl on Tinder, and they're married right now, and they've been together for like 8 years, and they have a kid.
We're going on 2 years.
It's weird.
We're a
In
year.
a good way.
We're a year at our home where we're at now.
Thank God uses every tool possible.
We were living with my mother.
Yeah.
Not that I love my mama, but there can't be two kings in a house, right? So, no,
Can only be
my
one.
woman needs her own domain. Family's always there when you need it. But so yeah, man, that whole thing was God reconstructing my life, and here I am, just still like worldly things. Like I make it to the World Finals 2022. Who we are in 2023. It's kind of a different story. I don't really have that same sponsors as I did, which is fine. That man helped me out, and I know he spent upwards of $10,000 on me. So it's like,
and thanks,
I'm blessed for him because if that it would have never been my
Gave you a shot.
deal. He gave me my shot, and
Yeah.
like he was a mentor of mine. He really truly believed in me, and
We all need that in our lives, though.
Yeah, I think that God sends us people at the right times to
That's part
accomplish
of that
incredible
Pointman stuff.
things.
Right.
Yeah, I
Like,
don't
you
think
have men
that.
that you can lean on in times of.
And there's going to be seasons where that changes, and
Oh,
it's time to move
And
on
that's
and
what
to do
that's what
anything.
now
Yeah.
I'm learning that, and it's sometimes it's hard to let that go. Not the sponsorship with the money with Josh. It's just now he used me for 2022. I got what I've strived for all my life, being a PBR, be
At the
one of
top level.
top 35 guys in the world. I think I ended up like 40.
I meant to ask this: how many, like worldwide, not pro necessarily? How many bull riders are there worldwide? Is there like a guestimate to that?
Worldwide, man, that's hard to explain because
Hey, look,
PBR
would
makes
you
got these
Google that?
Brazilians now.
yeah,
You-
PBR
please.
makes up
Zach,
Brazil.
you got these Brazilians.
They've always been there. When I was a
Son,
kid, we went to the PBR.
These
That
guys-
was who was winning everything.
They're you
coming
look at
over by the flock, but here's the
they're-
thing: they coming over here legally, and like that's what's cool is because they get their visa and they come over here and they ride their bulls.
a lot like baseball.
They come from dirt floors, man. Some of them, and then they become
Luke's producing. He's gonna find out how many bull riders
US
are in the
citizens,
world.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's so let's just say like baseball wise, the top 1% are in the MLB.
It's less than that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Less than
it's
that.
like
Let's just say the same-
0.02% or
And
something like that.
the
That's why I
other thing.
asked.
Your 1% is
you
like
got
your
Canada.
top.
In Canada, these knuckleheads are like nuts for the rodeo.
Well, I mean, here's the
everybody's
thing
riding.
I am thinking about and why I asked that is because like 33 people that's an insanely
1%.
small number
Well,
of people.
Your top 15 is where you make your money. That's where you're getting your sponsors,
Yeah.
like your corporate sponsors.
Yeah.
It ain't. That's what I've learned. Obviously, when you're doing your craft, I've went out and marketed myself. I had a couple of agents, but it wasn't like the PBR's agents. Like the PBR has their own agents for their top 15 guys or their poster child or whoever.
It's like fighting.
And then so PBR will issue this amount of money from Monster to that agent and this amount of money from whoever to that agent. And if you're not top 15, you're not getting none of them.
Yeah.
I have a problem with that.
Well, I think that's interesting. I think that pros,
They're employees of
We're
PBR.
blue collar for one.
yeah,
Sport.
it is
grassroots.
it is weird in that
We
way
don't
too.
get a contract. Now they do, PBR teams. There's still guys not getting paid from 2022. So what I'm saying is there's a hierarchy there. And it's
Yeah.
not godly.
It's all business
It's-
at that point.
No cowboy owns the sport of rodeo anymore. It come from cowboys. Now it's corporate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where this is where I start to get the
Is that why the
my
PR?
calling's done there.
Yeah.
You know, God got me to where I want to be and where I always wanted to be. And I got myself there.
Yeah.
But God allowed me to live that life. It was a dream when you're a boy. It became a reality when you're a man, a vision when you're a man, and make that vision to your reality. 2023, some struggles coming. First event go to Lexington, Kentucky. I win the first. Well, I split the first round with the Brazilian Carlos Gomez, I believe his name was. But anyways, end up in an average there. Go to Denver, and that's a big deal. It's a 3-day event. Usually, you win that, you're in a running for a world title. You know what I mean? It was hit and miss there. I didn't win nothing. Ended up going to some events and kind of winning, but just placing, but not winning nothing yet. You know what I mean? So Knoxville, Tennessee comes around.
Yeah.
This is March. This is like a couple weeks ago. You know what I mean? Of last year, and I had a foreshadowing. I didn't know that because I didn't know what that meant yet. But I just knew God was talking to me. And the weeks before that, we were struggling, man. Like, I didn't have a job. Bull riding's my job, my career. And I literally broke down in front of my stepmother, Dave's wife, Jess, at their house like a little boy, man. I'm crying, just not understanding. Like, I don't have all this behind me. I ain't got no one pushing me. When I do, I'm just not thinking of it financially. There's no one that believes in me financially like they would give me a, you know what I mean? Yeah. I'm just being a little baby. You're throwing my sucker in the dirt and not being... Anyways, everything come through. And I got to go to where I wanted. Got to enter the events. God always provided. And then Knoxville comes around and I'm like, I'm having these thoughts in my head like, all right, is this just it? Like, am I just going to win 6,000 here and there? Or am I going to go to the PBR and go win me an Unleash the Beast series and win 40,000?
Right.
You know,
it's
like,
a big bonus.
That's a big difference. And like, yes, grateful for this, few grand because it does pay bills, but it's month to month.
It's not sustainable for a family and a life.
It's a tough life.
Right. It's a tough life. And that's
travel.
If you don't love it, man, it's going to kill you. And I don't mean like literally because it can't. Everybody knows it
literally,
drive you crazy.
But internally, like your soul.
Men have we've talked about it in times here on the podcast. Men have this innate search for significance. Mm-hmm. We all are searching and seeking for what makes us significant.
Right.
The easy Bible school answer would be, well, your significance is found in God. I don't necessarily think it's that simple. I think that God gave us a mission and a vision and a calling on our life and the things that we're supposed to be doing. That's where our significance is found. When you get out of line with that, is when you start to feel that pull and that draw and some of those issues come into play.
It's funny you say that because I was getting it out. It's like, it's not like me personally, I'm getting away from God, but I'm starting to get out of line. I'm starting to resent this again. Now, I had that resentment when I was going through my sobriety court, and I learned when you let go of that resentment is when everything becomes positive.
Well, you were in a spot where you have had this vision of your life forever, where you want to succeed at this thing, and you're on Shane,
how long have you known me? Like
over 30 years.
We played youth baseball together too, but we didn't really know each other. But over 30
years.
Yeah, 30 years. So like, Luke, how long have you known me? A long time, man. What have I always said I was gonna do? Or
Bull rider.
I was gonna be that was it.
Yeah.
I got my first college offer when I was 16, and I quit riding, but this dude kept riding, and because my dad's like, you get on another bull, you're going to break an arm, you can't go play pro ball. My vision was playing pro ball.
Right.
And that got tarnished by the time I was 18 years old because there's just saturated field. But you get that vision in your life and it gets taken away from you.
And I think that it changes. Like, you're at this point and you've made the PBR.
That's what I'm saying.
You're competing. And this is the end of that road, or it may be. I'm not saying that. I'm not putting that on you, but but it could be the end of that road for you. And the God's saying, hey, there's a new thing I have for you.
Right.
And you're continuing to push forward in this thing that I don't intend for you to do anything anymore.
Yeah.
And this is going to make you uncomfortable, and you're going to have to restructure and reframe the way you do life. But this is what I have for you, and this is what you need to be doing.
Amen.
And I think whether you realized it or not just now, I think you internalized it to a way it's like, am I going to keep doing this thing just because I want to achieve again?
Right. I truly want to be a world champion.
Yeah. Is this what I'm supposed to, like, I had this dream for years that I used to be an ultra runner. So anything over a marathon. Mm-hmm. And I had this dream of running 100 miles. And it was like, that's all every day I woke up and I'd go run. And I was like, 100 miles. And I had 3 opportunities to do it.
Right.
55, 79, or 77, and like 45. Mm-hmm. Never got there.
Couldn't do that though.
But never got there. But the last time I did it, I found myself in the middle of the race and I was like, I am wasting my time now.
Right.
Like, this is it was no longer, I've used the failures to benefit my calling and use the stories to enhance my calling.
Yeah, no,
That's a what if I'm gonna put something on the plate for you. With your experience in the PBR and bull riding for the majority of your adult life, do you feel like that you could possibly use your experience and what you have now in your heart for God filling your heart to go to the younger crowd?
Yeah.
And go speak to these men
I
that
think
are.
that's what it is. I mean, yeah, I love that stuff. Love a good debate too. I love ones that are like try to prove these are not real. And
Right.
I'm like, okay, let's go. I
That's-
don't know
that's
how
when,
I'm going to do
That's when
that
you
yet.
get. That's when you get into the Bible and
Right.
you
Because I'm not fluent. I mean, I've been highlighting and I'm studying, but I'm still not fluent as far as like
never
that's
will.
John or Luke 3:6. You know, that's
Yeah.
you know. Anyhow,
So you use your gifts that you had in your life for God's glory.
God's glory, but
Yeah.
and then when he really constructed is when I was having this foreshadowing. So let me tell you about it. So like on the way to the, like even them weeks, I'm like, how am I going to get there? You know, I only got a few $100s. Well, that's my entry fee, and then Pro Hats did send me another $300-$400 for hotel, but that's
Right.
gone. I mean, it's not like I'm making money or
Right.
I'm paying my
You got to win.
PlayStation subscription or
Right.
whatever. Yeah, you got to win. And
You're living out your truck.
yeah, living, and luckily I have my mother that lets me live with her, but I'm
We've all-
not trying. I
we've
have
all
a
been there.
woman that I'm wanting to marry,
Right.
and we're living with my mom. Anyway, so Knoxville's coming up, and like I'm asking God, if you want me to quit riding bulls, or you like if you want me, if there's something, like, I'm feeling this, man, there's something else, and it's
That's
not
the knocking.
winning riding bulls, and because I've done one, and maybe not at the supreme level. I've actually come in the short round in Tacoma 2022. I was spotlighted on Championship
Right.
Sunday, which means coming into Championship Sunday, you're in the contender of winning that event if you just ride your bulls, which I didn't. You know, whatever. I've never been spotlighted at that. So
Right.
I'm saying I've been to that big level, and
You've had a taste of
and
it.
even winning ain't fun. So anyhow, get to Knoxville, and it's like I remember sleeping on the way there. God gave me this. It was a dream, man, and it was so real. I woke up out of it, and my woman's driving. It's middle of the night, and I've been asking God all the time, "Hey, is this it?" Because winning ain't fun no more, really, and I ain't got money. Do you want me to ride bulls? I need something. I need you if it ain't riding bulls, it's something else. I'll be danged. And I go there, win the event, and break my arm in the same thing. And it was like, I'm sitting there asking God, is riding bulls my...
Yeah, here's
I
a buffer
have
and an
multiple
exit
breaks,
strategy.
man. And in and out.
Here's your hospital deductible bill.
Yeah. Well, I'll
Only
pay
like-
for that. And
Not only going to Knoxville, I'm asking God, like, what is it this? Or is there something more? Or like just I need something more.
Right.
Really, I need more, and I need you to show me. And he showed me. So we get there, and the year before that, I took second at that event. And the whole weekend, well, I say whole weekend, it's just a one-day event, but that whole night, one of the in-house commentators, Scott Grover, it's like he kept telling me, "You're gonna win this event," and. So I ride my bull. I think I'm sitting third in the average coming in short round.
What was the bull's name, by the way?
I don't even remember.
Was it Oreo?
No, Matthew was the Matthew. What? That's what I'm saying, man. Look, man,
I was leading, by the way.
I'm a believer and I'm a radical believer at that. So I believe in stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm talking to God all the way there past month.
Some things are coincidental. Some things are like
Whatever.
smack in the
Some
face.
things are
God's
divine.
on.
Yeah.
lots of things are divine.
Lots.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, this divine.
He's the creator of all things.
Discipline is practical,
Discipline is practical.
but there's divine intervention in all
Amen.
things.
And so I draw Matthew, arrived that bull. I was like 84 maybe. I don't even remember. But anyhow, getting back to the championship round. And that's, like I said, that's where the money pays. That's,
Yeah.
And I draw this bull named Oreo.
Yeah.
He comes from North Carolina, one of Dustin Denning's. I'm pretty sure he's from North Carolina. Maybe Virginia. But anyways.
We may have a video of this ride.
Yeah.
Right.
we'll get it.
I'll submit some for you.
And they're like, man, he's gonna match style. He's out of the right hand delivery shoot. For those of you who don't know what that means, the bull just comes out of the right handed side. He turns backwards though. Like instead of going, I'm not very good with bulls in my hand. I can ride them, but
Do you line up your?
there's a lot to I don't really, that could be a whole nother.
We may skip the technical side of bull
Yeah,
riding
but
this
either way,
morning.
the bull
It's
like,
hard to
turned
understand
out
it.
backwards. So
Yeah.
like
Okay.
instead of going right, he spun back left.
So you're off your hand at this point.
Yeah, I'm away from my hand, but I ride bulls great away from my hand.
Okay.
Like I have struggled with bulls that turn back into my hand.
Yeah.
I'm just tall.
Yeah.
And I ride loose. You know,
Okay.
I tend to get pulled down over bulls' heads quite a bit. Just the way I ride.
Okay. So this is Oreo.
This is Oreo. He turns out of the chute backwards, round left, right where I want him. So it's like God gave me a bull named Matthew, and I rode him, and a bull named Oreo, which is one of my favorite cookies. Right. So
That's coincidental.
yeah, that's coincidental.
Oh, yeah.
So, turns out the chute backwards, round left. I ride him, and as I'm coming off the dismount, my free arm gets behind me. The bull kicks out, and catches my humerus, which I broke before in 13.
Yeah. So it's
I
just
have a
fragile.
plate and screws in there. No, it broke under that plate and screw all the way down to the bone, completely set, like off.
Yeah.
I have a plate on this side all the way down to that bone. There's a plate sitting on that bone, which no screw in it because I don't know, man. They said it was a very difficult type of surgery. And I'm laying in the hospital, not even have surgery yet. They held me overnight, and I'm in pain, and I wasn't very nice to my woman, you know, and like.
I don't think I'm ever nice when I'm in pain.
To the point though, I made her cry, dude, and it's like,
Yeah.
it still hits me to this day because
Yeah.
I'm still working on that.
That's your testimony.
And man, I'm not even saying that it's from bull riding. I've had a temper all my life, and like, but bull riding, being knocked out don't help it, you know. And so anyhow, she stays by my side, man, and God bless her because I do love her. I'm in love with her, and but she's strong, man, like a cowgirl. So
Right.
we get out of there the next day. She drives us all the way home, and it's like it hits me right then. I'm like, God literally just answered what I asked of him.
Right.
What I need financial. I say stability, but I need some money.
Clarity.
Right.
You need
Yeah.
to know
I need
where
some
these
clarity.
dollars.
Right, yeah.
How you gonna buy
How
dinner?
am I going
Right.
to get my woman?
Keep me
we're
alive.
just a week fresh in our new home on 13 acres, new to us, right?
Right.
Just a rental home.
You got to pay some
Got
bills.
horses everywhere. Yeah, I got to pay bills, but our bills are starting. You know, I got cattle, and it's
Feed.
like feed. And now my woman's wanting this house repainted, and like God gave us money for that, but my arm's broke. So there's my in and out.
So what was that scripture with Jacob wrestling with God and Jacob God breaks his hip
Yeah.
kind of deal?
Yeah, and it's like.
That's good. Yeah, that actually lines up really well.
Right. You know,
I got a surprise when you came out with that.
son, I got you.
Dang,
Sorry.
look there. See?
God broke you, man.
Yep, he broke me. He
You're like a
made me
bronc.
and then broke me. So
Yeah. That's interesting.
that's the feeling. You ever hear your dad say, "Boy, I made you, I can break you."
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Yeah, I put you in this world. I can take you
take
out of
you
it.
out. Well,
Yeah.
God, that's God. He's our Father, and He literally said, you know, He did that to me.
Wake you up a little bit.
Wake me up, and like, it was it awakening as like, oh, it's just another injury. I'm going to heal and go right back at it. No, man, that was my old. That's the way I thought
Yeah.
then. Now I have a woman that
Did you rededicate yourself to God?
That's what I'm saying. It's
Did you?
like, that's where we're at now.
Yeah.
I haven't been on a bull since then. I haven't been on, I'm not saying I haven't thought about it, but even when I go to make an attempt to break back out, right?
Yeah.
I'm picking an event to enter and telling people, and I'm like trying just to maybe push that fire. But there isn't. Like somebody's going
Yeah.
blowing it right back out. I get
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
blowing it right back out. If that ain't God,
Yeah.
then you ain't a believer, because that was my old self.
Mm-hmm.
Going back to the question, how long have you known me? And that's all I've wanted to do.
Probably had a hard heart a little bit.
I think that's a truth.
So now I get to go out on top.
Yeah.
God allowed me to win and walk away a winner.
I think the truth in that though is like if you're trying to reignite that fire and it just doesn't come, maybe you're
forced.
just in the wrong. Maybe you're
Yeah.
forcing it. Maybe it's something that's in the wrong spot.
Wrong season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I
And
said,
it's not to say because how old are you? 35.
I'll be 35 in August.
35.
Yeah.
I don't know what's the lifespan of a
I mean,
bull
there's
rider.
40s. There's
It was.
guy pushing.
I went to one of the events where Brandon was in it, and they called him the old man on tour.
The old man on tour.
And I was like, this is harmful to
But
someone.
30s, man, your mid-30s, you're walking out of it.
You're owning
don't-
Bulls at
yeah,
that point.
I would
While the
I would
guys-
say though too, maybe it isn't this year, maybe it isn't this season, maybe God has a plan, maybe He wants you to settle some things, maybe He wants you to learn and to grow in some other aspect or to use
In that
the
sport.
the
I know I'm
platforms
not
and the things.
done with
Yeah.
that sport, right?
It's a culture,
If I'm
man.
done riding, man, right now I can tell you, like I ain't been on a year, and that's usually because of injury. This arm ain't the same, but I could compete if I wanted to.
Yeah, and like
couple of yearling Bulls kind of thing.
Yeah.
for me, it's like this
2-year-olds.
podcast is an example. Like I love to make stuff, but
Yeah.
anytime I try to make something that's not in this space,
Right.
it doesn't work.
Doesn't work. No.
Doesn't come together.
So we've had some podcasts where we started before, and we just started over.
Yeah.
It felt forced.
Right.
So like
not what we're supposed
I
to be
have
doing.
a giant love for baseball
Yeah.
and archery as well.
Right.
Giant love for it. I don't have any desire to go out there and be the best at it anymore.
Yeah.
Because I want to be the best Christ follower as I can be.
That's where I'm at. Too.
So it's weird to recalibrate your life.
yeah.
It's growing pains, I'm sure.
Well,
You
yeah.
can, you can do both. though.
can,
I do
you
want to say,
can.
like, so
can.
I want to say this for a listener because,
Use your gifts and talents to spread the kingdom of God.
Yeah.
but I want to say this for a listener because we're talking about someone. This isn't like a hobbyist who did something for fun. It's a professional who did something at the highest level. Two things can be true. You can do something at the biggest, baddest, highest level possible and glorify God through it. They're not mutually exclusive. I hate this idea in the church that everyone has to be the
Yeah, you
preacher.
preach this a lot. I love it,
hate
man.
it. It drives me nuts. Like
Right.
if you're
Listen
the
to this.
best filmmaker, make the best Christian films you possibly can. Quit making crappy shows on TV nobody wants to watch.
Yeah.
If you're the best bull rider that you can be, go do that thing and glorify God with it.
Amen.
Yeah.
And this whole, like, I think that there are times and seasons where we have to stop, slow down, and recognize the gifts that God has given us, learn, grow, dive in our relationship with Him. Great. But when it's time to go back and to do the work that He's called you to do, it's time to go.
Amen.
Because maybe God's telling you to, you need to have a family. So now you
Right.
got to readjust yourself.
that's what I'm saying,
and
man.
put
Yeah.
yourself to. You're 34, 35.
Yeah.
You're in this traditionally.
Been for myself the whole.
You've been
time,
by
you know.
yourself. You don't have So like maybe God's telling you, let's readjust, let's recalibrate, let's get you on the right path so you can lead your family.
Yeah.
In the way that you're designed to be led. You're supposed to be leading your family,
Mm-hmm.
and so God broke your arm for a reason.
I'm telling you,
Let's just say it that way. God broke your arm for a reason.
Yeah.
To put you
where I need to be.
put you where you
in
need where
his-
he
in
where he
his
wants
path,
you to be,
man.
not
It's
where you need to be,
his
where he
timing.
wants you to be.
And we met last weekend because you came to Pillars.
Yep.
Yeah.
Pillars is
Just a
our
random contact. We know each other.
Yeah.
But that's been the pathway of the growth of our group
Yeah.
for the
Amazing
last 2
thing.
years. It's been let's be focused on what God. Let's be diligent in doing the work that God has called us to
Yes,
do
sir.
in that moment.
In that moment.
And then the reward comes whenever people come to know Jesus or to
Yeah.
grow in their relationship.
Amen.
But if we weren't diligent to do the work He called us to do in the first
Yeah.
place, it wouldn't happen.
Because I changed my whole outlook on social media.
Wouldn't happen.
I thought it was a goof off place, which
Yeah,
it is.
It can
it's
be.
the
But-
devil's
yeah,
playground, but can you use it for
I
God's
use it as a tool
platform?
to spread everything I can about His church. It's not my to spread
church.
to His church. And so you saw that.
Yep.
You reached out to me and
Dude,
said,
it
"Hey,
started with the diesel devotionals.
really."
That's awesome.
We need to bring those back.
Honest,
Dude,
man.
John Meyer said the other day, it's the 6.0 turbo wind.
Yeah.
Anyways, John Meyer goes, "When are you gonna bring those back?" And I was like, "Dude, I didn't know people like them things."
No, it was
so
cool.
that was
You do it for God. You don't do it for people.
absolutely.
And He
So
works it
I
out.
randomly got in my truck one day.
Yeah.
And I get the
I remember the first one.
prayer.com comes up.
Yeah.
And it's TD,
hit you, didn't
it's
it?
TD
Like-
Jakes, and it's a lovely voice.
I need to say this
It's good.
to people.
But I got on there and I was like, I got to tell people about. I'm a new
Yeah.
Christ follower.
Of course.
And I was like, there's people out there that are just like me that are brand new in this, that
Mm-hmm.
don't know what to say or how to feel. And I put it out there, and I'm glad it got to you. I don't care who else it gets to, but I'm glad it got to
No,
you.
I mean that's just what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, we're all in each other's lives for reasons.
Yeah, it's true. It's weird.
It's true.
I think we're all
Our
here.
circle in high school was. I ain't saying we all had a tight, but it was a small community.
It was.
So
Yeah.
we all grew up together. And even
bunch
the
of-
younger ones grew up with our brothers and sisters. It's a family, and it's like
It's interesting to see that you have family that are that goes to our church, and you're willing to be in an uncomfortable space like Pillars or this podcast.
But he only found it because you were willing
weird.
to be uncomfortable and record a video.
I'm gonna tell you something.
I didn't know I wanted that responsibility.
Well, let me.
Nobody wants
Is this gonna
it.
help
No
you
one
change
wants
this? 'Cause
it.
look,
Nobody wants
I
it.
don't think you ever felt uncomfortable until you get on the back of a bull, like at the highest level, where everybody's like, you know, you're supposed to be here for a reason, but do you really think they all truly think that? Like,
Yeah.
I'm this outside guy, man. I ain't in their cliques.
Right.
Maybe some of them might, look at me as a colleague, but like I can read people pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm not like any of them really, man. Like I'm different.
Right.
I'm a different kind of guy, and to me, it was just I'm used to them. You make the most uncomfortable positions your most comfortable position.
Yeah.
Because like in bull riding, you're gonna be putting them uncomfortable. Not even like at a bull riding or in the locker room, even in the middle of a ride, you're going to be put in a spot to where, okay, I'm out of shape. This bull's about to hit me. Oh, let's just get off the ship. Or you keep your chin tucked, do what you're supposed to do. You either take the horn to your chin or your face or wherever, or you're going to get the whistle.
Yeah.
And then that's how bull riding goes. So if you can handle, you make all the uncomfortable positions comfortable.
Yeah.
You're gonna thrive. Yeah. And like I'm like same way with this, dude. If this gets bigger, like the everything, which it will, God, it will. But like
Pillars,
I'm all for
Pointman.
it because I know what God's calling. I don't know exactly what He's calling me for, but I know it's right here, and I know it led to Pointman.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying talking on cameras. We could do that, but it's doing God's.
It's part of the work.
A disciple, man. And
Yeah.
like
That's what we're designed to do.
know,
We got 2 nights or night 2 tonight.
yeah.
So we'll be in profit. Man, we may need to do a part 2 because we've been going for about 50 minutes. But I'm gonna tell you, it's your story is really incredible. I'm fascinated by people who do things exceptionally well, and to be at the top of a sport that is so, one, just dangerous, 2, just such a kind of abstract, like it's not in the mainstream.
No.
The struggle
It's
to
bigger
grow
now than it ever
Yeah, it is.
has been, but it's like blue collar.
Yeah, I think a lot of niche sports are becoming more popular
Yeah.
because they're niches. Like we have disc everywhere. Me and Luke both love playing disc golf. It's the same way.
Yeah.
It was like a nothing sport,
Brandon,
and then
don't go play disc golf.
the next thing you know, you turn around and there's like millionaires playing disc golf.
Right, that's what I'm
But
saying.
I'm fascinated by people who do things at the highest level. But I'm more interested in this conversation hearing your testimony.
I want to do that.
Of learning and your growth, and
Everyone has something to share. Zach told me that early on was because I was worried at that talking about the diesel devotional thing.
Mm-hmm.
I was worried about sharing my testimony, see if it was. I measured it,
people are gonna hate it.
and I measured it inside my head. Like, is it
More
good?
people are going to hate it than
Yeah.
same thing with Jesus. Though.
They hated him. Why would they not
hated
hate
him.
you?
So like
Right.
now I got
What
that.
makes us-
I got that fake knowledge out of my head. Like my testimony's not worth
It don't
anything.
matter.
I tell everybody,
Do it
is worth it.
your testimony
to somebody.
is worth
Somebody.
everything to God.
Yeah, everything
And-
to God.
and
Yeah.
to
But it's worth it to somebody.
Recognize this too, though. Like your platform is what it is. I was listening to somebody, and it was about growth of YouTube channels. Is what he was talking about, and he said, "Think about it this way: so you have 120 followers and 400 people watch your video. If 400 people were standing in front of you, would that change the way you feel about it?
Right.
Like your community and your crowd, it is what it is,
Right.
and thank God for it. And that's who you get to
Grow the
speak
crowd
into.
that you have.
Lean into them, pray for them, care for them.
Yeah.
It's an incredible thing. Man, I'm gonna wrap this up this time.
Appreciate it,
We will
Brandon.
have to do this again
for having me.
because your story is awesome. Make sure you check out. I don't know when this will come out, but we have Pointman coming back every Wednesday night in April, 6:30 p.m. That Church Sherwood, That Church Cabot. The series is called Barbaric Faith. Y'all, this is Gladiator meets Braveheart with a dash of 300.
Beast.
Let's go. Yeah, man versus beast. What's more barbaric? I'm looking at a camera that's not even on anymore, but
Yeah.
what's more barbaric than that? So make make sure you're at Pointman on every Wednesday night in April, 6:30 p.m. We're going to get into it, and it's going to be an incredible semester. I got so many messages that I'm having to sift through which ones we're actually going to teach because
awesome.
we're getting into this thing, and it's going to be awesome. But thank you, Brandon.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for coming and joining us, and we're going to get out of here and get to Pillars. So we'll see y'all next time.